The sledgehammer.
Welcome to Inside Marquette Basketball. I'm Sophia Minner, joined by Marquette men's basketball head coach Shaka Smart. We're here at the Al McGuire Center, home of the Marquette basketball team. And coach, the last time we spoke, we talked so much about the growth mindset, right? And what you're seeing from your team here. And now here we are. We're 10 games into the season. The Big East Conference season is coming up just around the corner after your team gets through finals this week and wraps up their semester. So just these 10 games overall, how have you seen your team grow on the floor?
Well, I've been through a lot of experiences, a lot of different types of games, a lot of close games, a lot of different moments where, we look back in retrospect and we say, hey, if we can get a little bit better at this on this end, or a little bit better at that on that end. But I think for us, it always has to start culturally, our connection with each other, how we act, interact, and respond in the moment, in the game. There's your program culture, but then there's in the game, your in-game culture. And that's certainly an area through 10 games where we just want to keep getting better. We've lost some real cultural stalwarts, and we have some young guys and even some of our older guys still emerging into becoming what they need to become in that way. And a lot of good learning experiences, obviously some different twists and turns. We went 3 years where pretty much the starting lineup stayed the same every game unless there was an injury. And now we've had some different adjustments, but still learning about these guys and how to best help them grow.
For your young players, and we're going to talk about some of them specifically, as like you said, you're changing up your lineups and different guys are getting opportunities. For them, Coach, how have you seen them respond to these early season experiences?
Well, our freshmen, we have 4 freshmen, counting Josh Clark, who redshirted last year, that are playing this year, and then 2 more that are, redshirting. Shortly will be 3. And, for the freshmen that are playing, I think they've had some really good moments. I think they've also had freshman moments where they get a little overwhelmed. John Calipari used to say sometimes the game is above freshmen, and we've certainly had some of those times. But, NJ, has been the most consistent of the freshmen. I think he's a little ahead offensively of where he is defensively, which is actually a good thing, because I think the defensive end is the area where it's easier to make fast growth, and he will. Adrian Stevens has really continued to develop. He had his first start the other day against Wisconsin. I thought he played well in helping us come back and win against Valparaiso. Both of those guys were recruited with the mindset of, hey, Cam and Stevie are graduating, and we need guards to come in and impact our team right away. And I'm really proud of those guys in the way that they have.
And Nigel James Jr., he has gotten some extended run here in the starting lineup as Sean Jones was out. Great to get him back in the Wisconsin game. So Nigel's gotten kind of the most minutes of that freshman group. But with Adrian getting his first start, like you said, against Wisconsin, he performed well with 15 points. What did you identify with Adrian to give him that opportunity?
He's a phenomenal young man. He's very, very intelligent, and he's very, very caring, cares about winning, cares about relationships. Like a lot of us, though, he can overthink sometimes. So I think my biggest push with him is just helping him lose himself in the fight, in the moment. When he's done that, he's been excellent for our team. He's been one of our better players. And when he's done that, he's been a part of really good runs in games where we've played with the type of personality that has made us who we want to be over these last several years. So that bodes well for his future. Now we've got to continue to build consistency. I think a big part of it for me as his coach is helping him know he's okay, and to not, doubt himself, to not worry too much about, what ifs, and just to go after it and like I said, lose himself in that moment with his teammates, connect with his brothers out there on the court, off the court, and the more he does that, the better he's going to be.
And you talked about after the Wisconsin game with those two specifically, how much you like their disposition, right? There's going to be freshman stuff, right? As you said, freshman stuff, we'll see that. But the disposition is there, and they're caring and working at the right things.
They both really care. They're both actually real thinkers. I mean, they both very, very intelligent. They're roommates. I actually texted them. I was recruiting yesterday, and I texted them and I said, guys, connect. open your doors. Because I know both of them. I know sometimes they go in a room and they shut their door and, they think and they, kind of critique things and evaluate things. And there needs to be time for that for sure. But the connection of the two of them together, just as a small subset on our team, can be very, very powerful. As we've learned over the years, whether it was Cam and Stevie or Tyler and Oso or different guys that have come together to make each other better.
And in that second half of the Wisconsin game, you went with Royce coming out and starting that second half. What did you like about putting Royce in that spot and just kind of what you've seen from him the last handful of games? Well,
he was the best guy we had at different stretches in the first half, putting the ball in the basket, and we were struggling to do that. So, it was just a shift from that standpoint. I mean, you're always evaluating your team from the standpoint of culturally, defensively, and offensively. And, the ideal team is one where the best five is actually your best five in all three of those areas. We're not at that point right now. That's okay. We got to keep building. We got to keep getting our guys better in all those areas. But then sometimes the challenge is in the game to make a decision, to kind of pick where do we need to be good right now. The answer is obviously all three, but obviously inserting Royce in gives us a little bit more scoring punch.
And Coach, you've talked about, you're going to experiment with these lineups, right? Part of it's because you were missing Sean Jones. He missed the 6 games with the shoulder injury. That opened up the opportunity for NJ to get Sean back on the floor. How can you build him up again, right, and get him back into the flow with everyone else?
Sometimes things happen in sports that are unfortunate, and that was an unfortunate injury for us. It was tough timing. NJ needs Sean, the two of them together with NJ as a freshman. I thought NJ performed very admirably, played well for long stretches. But he also, as we've talked about, had some freshman moments, and he needs a break. He plays so hard. He was probably playing more than he should have in some of those games. He also needs the veteran leadership of Sean. So for him to miss those 6 games was tough, but outside of our control. And then the other thing that was unfortunate about it is Sean Jones needs and deserves some runway.
Yeah.
It's as a basketball player to really get to playing excellent basketball, you need, it's the best metaphor I can use, a runway just like an airplane does to take off. And, he had those 3 games and, had some good moments in those games, had some tough moments, but all learning moments. Then he gets injured. And he's on the sideline, and not only is he not playing in games, he's not practicing. But fortunate now he's back, and knock on wood, hopefully he can get an extended period over the rest of the season where he can really get his feet under him. He can really gain confidence and an understanding of how he can be his best with this team, with this group of guys in this season. And I think as he does that, what we'll see once he gets a handful of games under his belt, we'll see him really play well.
Shaka Smart's interview is presented by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, the official banking partner of Marquette University. Inside Marquette Basketball is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare, the healthcare choice of Marquette Athletics.
My time at Marquette was amazing. It shaped me and molded me a lot to the man that I am today, and I've carried a lot of lessons that I've learned within that time throughout my life into my professional career, now post-athletics, now that I'm retired, and everything that I have coming up going forward. I am a personal trainer slash strength and conditioning coach, but I also do a little bit of skill development, work a lot with young athletes, but I also provide fitness services to people, regular everyday people just trying to keep themselves moving.
Where Are They Now is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare, the healthcare choice of Marquette Athletics for over 20 years. Welcome back to Inside Marquette Basketball, here with head coach Shaka Smart. And Coach, we're in the middle of this season, but you and your staff, the recruiting trail never ends, right? You guys are always working hard to bring in the next wave of talent for your program. Signing day just passed a couple of weeks ago. 3 new players joining your program. What can you tell us about that 2026 signing class?
Well, we got Alex Egbuonu, we got Ethan Johnston, and we got Nash Walker. Alex is very, very unique in that when you first see him, you might think he plays football. I mean, he is barrel-chested, 6'6", with long arms, and 236 pounds. But he moves around in a lot of ways like a ballerina in terms of like his, he's got really good footwork. He's light on his feet, but he's strong and powerful, which is an awesome mix. Can shoot, pass, and handle the ball. I actually just saw him yesterday. Cody and I went to see a game, and a very, very exciting prospect, really unlike anyone we've had. The closest that we've had to him was Justin Lewis. You know, you think about how Jay Lou would move around the floor, but also strong and powerful, how he could shoot the ball, how he could put it on the floor. Alex is a lot like that, but even stronger coming in. Obviously Justin got stronger as he got to college. Ethan Johnston is a unique prospect as well because he's got great size for a guard. He's 6'7", very athletic, springy, unbelievable young man. Comes from a background, being from New York City, of high-level basketball. And he's a guy that can just do a lot of different things. He's got a lot of versatility, very good passer, good ball handler, great defensive player, can guard a lot of different positions, and he's just got great size, so he can do things like rebound and finish around the rim, contest shots, just because of his size and his length. He's a guy, Ethan, that as he continues to get in better and better condition, as he continues to gain confidence in who he can be as a violent, aggressive player downhill, his future is incredibly bright. And then Nash Walker actually will be joining our team later this month because he's coming to us from Australia, and it was really important to get him here for this second semester because he's done, with his academic requirements, and obviously the basketball system is different over there. He's not playing high school basketball. So he will join Ian and Sheik as a redshirt for the second semester of this season, and that'll be big for our scout team, and it'll be big for him to get his feet under him. He's a very good shooter, very skilled. He visited and saw Marquette for the first time for our first game against Albany at the beginning of the season, and it was great to be around him and his family. Just phenomenal people. He's got a real edge about him. He cares about winning, and he's someone I think that'll fit in really, really well with our team.
For a player like Nash to get the opportunity to come in early, get some time with the current team, build up, what is the advantage for him and for you guys as a staff to get to know him and integrate him into your program culturally and just on the floor with the guys?
Well, there's a reason in football that they do that with every freshman they can. I mean, it just gives you a head start. It gives you an opportunity for a guy to be in practice, a guy to be with Todd Smith every single day, working on his body. We do about as much as we possibly can to prepare our incoming guys for what it's going to be like when they get here, practice, the schedule, all the demands, and then what it's going to be like actually in the games. But there's no such thing as really being ready for that until it smacks you across the face. And so if you can be here for a year or in Nash's case, half a year, redshirting, training, learning, observing. I mean, the observation that our red shirts get in the game, as you know, they're on the bench sitting there right next to their teammates. And so it's a real learning experience, and it gives them a much better chance to hit the ground running the next season.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Ben Gold, forward, senior. Big things for me for growth over my time here was kind of just taking time to watch people play. Freshman and sophomore year I was playing behind Oso, so being able to learn from him, work out with him. He was able to help me with my growth a lot, getting in the gym with me every day, telling me what he needs from me, what I need to keep doing better. And also everyone else on the team, kind of learning from them, working out with them, and spending a lot of time with them.
One of the things I truly appreciate about Ben is from day one, when he got here, came halfway around the world from New Zealand, is the openness that he had to relationships. And that's been a big part of the reason why he's been a huge part of growth. We played UConn in the semifinal of the Big East Championship game. It was the year they went on to win their first national championship. Well, in that game, Tyler Kolick, Oso Ighodaro, Omax Prosper all had foul troubles. David Joplin had foul trouble. And so we found ourselves in the game with about 8 minutes left with a lineup that included 2 freshmen, Chase Ross and Ben Gold.
Coach always talks about that moment. My freshman year in the semifinals for the Big East tournament, we playing against UConn. I was in with 4 minutes to go, battling against their big man. And honestly, I just got in there and I was playing. I didn't have anything on my mind. I was just making sure I just had to do what I had to do. And that's what helped me succeed in that moment.
His willingness over the several months before that to truly open himself up to those older teammates and their lessons for what would go into winning played a huge role in his ability to be sturdy enough in that moment in a big-time atmosphere. And it's something that I'll never forget.
You know, RGV is a really important factor. You know, we hop on it every single day to get better every day, help each other get better every single day. And honestly, that's why we've had so much success in the last couple years. I mean, I feel like as a freshman, when I first got here, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence. I kind of just went out there and tried not to make mistakes. And now as a senior, I'm one of the leaders on the team, going out there, helping everyone else. You know, and always having them help me, because that's what leaders do.
Coach, we just learned a little bit more about one of your seniors, Ben Gold, and from the time that he came on campus, you guys have poured so much into him, right? Coming from New Zealand, just first of all, the challenges of that, right? Bringing him over, getting him just accustomed to life here and into your program, the growth that you've seen from Ben over the last 4 years.
I can't believe he's a senior. It's gone really fast. I have to give incredible credit to Ben himself for the way that he wrapped his arms around the program and his new teammates, particularly when he first got here. That is not easy when you're making the adjustment from high school to college, but also from the Eastern Hemisphere to the Western Hemisphere. I also got to give a ton of credit to Oso, as he mentioned in the feature. Probably the best teammate that I've ever coached, and the way that he treated Ben and continues to treat Ben like a younger brother, but not like a younger brother that you pick on or that you look down on, but truly someone that you want to mentor and that you want to build up. Just to give you a snapshot into Oso, after his last year here, he and Tyler actually had another year of eligibility because of the COVID year. And, it was time for them to go for obviously their own careers, because they had a chance to get drafted and go. But Oso actually made the comment, he said, I can't come back because this is Ben's time. It's Ben's time to step forward. And we're like, well, Ben can step forward and you can come back. But
right.
It just shows you the bond that those guys had. I think Ben, in his own unique way, has really, tried to take those lessons and lead. And we need more of that, to be honest, with this team moving forward, going into conference play. We need him to continue to assert himself and step forward. He has it in him. His teammates really respect him. But he's got such humility. Sometimes it's like, Ben, I appreciate that, but man, assert yourself and assert your voice, because we need it.
Well, and how much is confidence a part of that, right? Of how much he's had to earn his time on the floor, learning so much from Oso, like you said, and now he's got to step up, right, and be one of those senior leaders.
It has a lot to do with it, and it's fascinating confidence, because it can ebb and flow. And, he's had moments where he looks very, very confident out there, even stretches within a certain game, but then other moments where, maybe he's not as confident. And a lot of it comes down to it, he just really cares. He wants to do well for his teammates. He wants to do the right thing, and he can get a little down on himself when he doesn't. So, our job as coaches is to continue to build him up, but then also help him understand what we absolutely need from him.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Pepsi. Thirsty for more. As we wrap up with head coach Shaka Smart here at the Al McGuire Center, Coach, your players, they're wrapping up the semester. Finals week changes the schedule a little bit, but once they get through the week, you're hitting the road. You're going to go play Purdue, who just suffered their first loss of the season over the weekend. This has been historically a good matchup for your team, a tough matchup, of course, one of the best teams in the country. 4th year in a row, you're playing Purdue. What do you like about the challenge, about playing at the caliber of that type of program?
Well, Coach Painter and his staff and his team, they have truly one of the best programs in the country. I'd say UConn, Purdue, Houston, off the top of my head, probably the 3 best programs in the last handful of years in college basketball. The opportunity to play them every year over the past 4 years has been exciting and challenging, daunting at times. Their teams evolved, obviously, as Zach Edey moved on, but they've been just as successful. Braden Smith is a preseason All-American. A lot of people talk about him as the best point guard and the best player in the country. So we've played against him every year of his career. It'll be a heck of a challenge for us going in there. Mackey Arena is a tough place to play. Their students and their fans truly are on one accord. You can tell. It's almost like they rehearse what they're going to do. But it's an exciting opportunity, a chance for us to grow in terms of our road approach and the way we are when we go on the road. It's our 2nd road game of the year. Obviously, when we get into Big East play, there'll be a lot of tough venues that we have to go into. And so for us, it's about coming closer together when you're in that setting, because it's really just us. It's players and coaches and then a bunch of people wearing another color trying to beat you.
And Purdue head coach Matt Painter has been very complimentary of you and your program as well, with what you've built and how you develop players here. How much does that mutual admiration, mutual respect play into this? Do you guys have much of a personal relationship?
I've known Coach Painter for quite a while. I remember going to watch him speak at a clinic way back when I was an assistant coach, and I still have my notes from that clinic. He's just a really good coach. We have a drill that we do regularly in practice called the Painter Drill, which I actually learned from him when we were both working at USA Basketball many, many years ago. So he goes about it the right way. He develops his guys. He gets his guys better. He develops people in addition to players. I think they've really, found and bought into an identity there of who they are that has built on itself. And so it's been fun to watch that. It's been fun to observe and learn from. And then when we do go up against them, we know it's a really challenging game.
And there have been some challenging games, right? You've played Indiana and Oklahoma, in Chicago, coming off of the Wisconsin game, and now against Purdue on the road. Like you said, it's going to be a tough assignment. But how do you want to see your players respond to these opportunities, knowing the Big East Conference season is around the corner?
Well, I think first, relishing the opportunity to play in these type of environments and these type of games, because you have to be excited, to really go get something. And I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson that said, nothing great was ever accomplished without enthusiasm. I think for us as well, learning from each experience so that the very next time we can be better.
And Coach, we're going to take a little break here with the holidays coming up, the Big East Conference season coming up. So we're going to check in again with you in the new year. So happy holidays to you and your family and your team. A lot to look forward to here as we get the Big East Conference season underway in the next couple weeks. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for your time, Coach. That's Inside Marquette Basketball here at the Al McGuire Center.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,